Good evening, I'm Paweł Trzaskowski and you're watching World Talks. Kosovo has recently put itself in the spotlight by signing up to Donald Trump's Board of Peace. This happens right after the country started recovering from a year of political turmoil. To discuss Kosovo's place in a rapidly changing world, I'm joined today by Ambassador Drilon Gashi, Chief of Mission of the Kosovo Consulate General in Warsaw. Hello, Ambassador Gashi. Thank you for joining us.
Very good to be on your program back on TV World.
So, in the introduction, I mentioned Kosovo's place in a rapidly changing world. This is non-coincidentally a title of the lecture that you give at the university. So, what is Kosovo's place in a rapidly changing world?
It has a firm place, is the first point. And it's, of course, like many other countries, looking to sustainably see how we can expand our bilateral relationships, stay engaged multilaterally as well, and focus on the basics. I think still having a set of values that you ascribe to, working with countries a part of a broader system of values, which is for us pro-European, pro-Western, and transatlantic. And looking to build relationships with bilateral partners that we already have, relationships that we're grateful for, and then looking to build those with partners that are very important to us, like here in Poland. And so I think around all of us, there's of course more uncertainty. There is shifts in international institutions and perhaps in the ways in which foreign policy was conducted. But I don't think that changes in a way what our position is. It's still one of being a able, willing contributor and willing part of the international system.
So transatlantic, multilateral, the Board of Peace, of course, comes to mind. Kosovo received the invitation and decided to go all in almost immediately.
Yes, and as we've all followed, this has been a rapidly developing initiative led by President Trump of the U.S. And for us, as our President and Prime Minister has emphasized, we feel that we've been the great benefactor of international efforts for peace in our own country and in our own region. And so in this sense, we feel that we can contribute to this initiative in serving as an example for countries abroad. And then, of course, strategically, this is a U.S.-led initiative on furthering peace globally. And so we are strategically allied with the U.S. and in support of their initiatives. And so looking for ways in which we can add value as part of this group.
Mm-hmm. So Kosovo joins the Board of Peace. So does Albania. So does Bulgaria in the region. Serbia is not invited. How do you feel the Board of Peace could affect the balance of power in the region?
It's, I think, for the countries that are part of it, including ourselves and Albania and others within Europe, we hope obviously to contribute to international issues where we can lend assistance experience. And so I think for the group that's already a part of this initiative, it can be a way to to provide one other mechanism at international peace. I think this mechanism is in addition to the UN and other established bodies for this. I don't think it's in competition with that. And I think of course the offer and the engagement of the US appears to be that that this board would expand, and so in that sense it can be open to future partners in the future, and of course being a part of the Board of Peace, but also being committed to our Euro-Atlantic future. We are going to be a part of the four countries in this group that is hoping for alignment on transatlantic matters and matters of EU foreign policy along with this, and not as a sort of separate.
But please correct me if I'm wrong. The accession to the Board of Peace has still not been ratified by the Parliament. Am I correct?
This, yes, in our case, because we, as I'm sure we'll discuss shortly, we are in this post-election period before the formation of our parliament, and so this can will be expected, let's say, as an outcome following the constitution of the parliament from the recent December elections.
So despite the fact that caretaker Prime Minister Kurti has still not voiced any opinion on the Board of Peace, we could expect this accession to be ratified once the government is installed finally.
This is the expectation, and in our political system we have a hybrid system between president and prime minister as head of state and head of government, but foreign policy is led by, let's say, the president in this sense. So we know it's a different calculus for different countries. We know, for example, Poland has expressed its own support in a way for this initiative, whilst determining the ways in which it will engage. And so I think for many of the countries, even that are part of it, it will be kind of something to be managed in the months to come.
I'm talking about expectations. What can we expect in Kosovo's internal politics this year? Last year was marked by, well, essentially a deadlock after February's general election that provided no clear winner. What's to come in this year? There are presidential elections as well, right?
Indeed. I'll say one thing actually that recently Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Trzaskowski said for Poland, that Poland is much better than its reputation. I feel that Kosovo as well is much better than its reputation, in that any sense of political deadlock usually tends to, let's say, create headlines about there being instability. I think within that lack of political agreement on the creation of institutions last year, you had a democratic process that followed through, and you had parties that had, let's say, public discussions on whether they would partner or not, and decisions that there was not enough will for there to be partnership. With the elections that have just happened in December, Verkhovna has gotten a mandate where it's able, with its minority coalition partners, to form the next government. So this will make the process, let's say, much more straightforward. But the new government has this initial responsibilities of ratifying a few international agreements, including support that we received from the EU, and also approving our budget for this coming year as sort of a very pressing matter institutionally, but also this matter of the next president will be decided within the next month. So we have to decide on that before March.
So domestically, more peace is expected, apart from the fact that, as you mentioned, it wasn't as unpeaceful as it might look like. What about the closest neighbors in Serbia? We heard in his New Year's address, the country's President Aleksandar Vučić said that he will never renounce Kosovo, and this happens as Serbia is, starting a year that could be pivotal for the country's politics. How do you see Serbia-Kosovo tensions in 2026 unfolding?
Well, Kosovo's independence is a fact. It's a reality. It's irreversible. And so, I think it's unfortunate that the political narrative coming from Belgrade is still one of blocking and seeking to undo independence. But that's impossible, let's say. So I don't think in that sense. And I think Serbia is aware, but unfortunately not at the point where it can adopt this as a path for moving forward. We are one of many countries in this world that's declared independence, and there has been, of course, a time for having that independence be fully consolidated.
And the anniversary of this independence is coming up.
It's quickly coming, yes, later this month. And so 18 years it will be, and 18 years since our independence and since recognition by Poland, which happened that first year of independence, that we're grateful for. And so, it doesn't appear that in terms of, the events in Serbia, the ongoing protests, I think we are quite, reserved in our commentary, not wanting to stoke this as an issue of bilateral ties, but we recognize in Kosovo, and I think much of the region recognizes, that a more democratic Serbia more based on the rule of law, is an even a better neighbor for us, and a better neighbor for Montenegro and Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina and all the rest. And so this is hopefully something that Serbia will draw closer to, as it appears that there is sustained public appetite for this.
Thank you. Thank you. My guest was Ambassador Drilon Gashi. I'm Paweł Trzaskowski. Please stay with us for more updates.